10,992 speeches in the first 11 years as a public speaking coach, and I always hear your same doubts over and over and over again. Your misbeliefs, misconceptions, myths about public speaking. In this session today, we will get rid of, debunk, kill 7 myths about public speaking. The moment we climb down from the trees, it seems as if we loved myths. Myths about gods, goddesses, demigods, and supernatural humans. King Arthur, Medusa, the Odyssey, and of course, the world is flat. Thomas Edison invented the light bulb. Yeah, sure, he bought some patents. He improved it. He never invented that thing. Germans are the world champions in beer consumption. It's also a myth because Czechs, they drink 40% more beer a year per capita. Myths are great. The problem starts when people start to believe that they are true. And this is what happens a lot in public speaking. I should call them misconceptions because they're not really about gods and demigods and supernatural human beings. It's more misconceptions. But isn't public speaking something mythical itself? For me it is. That's why let's call them myths. Now let's debunk 7 myths about public speaking. And when you start to free yourself from these myths, you will feel freer on stage and on the screen. Here is myth about public speaking number 1. It's amazing to see how many people believe that public speaking, the art of speaking, is a God-given gift. It's like as if God came down and said, you are now a great speaker. No, there is no God or another force of the universe who tells you now you're a great speaker. It is not innate. Public speaking is technique. Almost everything is technique. If you have a voice like my friend Melchior Cluthard from Switzerland, then this is innate. Check this out.
At the beginning of every speech, there is always an idea. A thought, a word. We go on stage, we should know what we are talking about. We have to know exactly what we want to innovate and why.
And he has a great voice. But that's one. The pitch on the right side, this is only one of 64 aspects you can technically improve as a public speaker. So almost everything is technique. It is not only my truth, it's a fact. Myth number 2, people are so convinced that they have to use slides for their presentations. Did he use PowerPoint? Mr. Aristotle, superstar of rhetoric, did he use PowerPoint? Once in a training, somebody told me, yeah, Florian, but he had a stick and he painted images in the sand. Well, yes, images. I follow this 6-step process when I prepare my presentations. First, my objective. What do I want to accomplish with this talk? Second, what's my message? Instagrammable. Third, why is my message relevant? Why should they care? Fourth, the big bang of rhetoric. Structure, structure, structure. Check out the link below. Check out my speech structure building method. Step number 5, fill the structure with content. And then in the 6th step, then I decide, and only then, do I need slides? You only need slides when they add power to your point. My truth is, Aristotle didn't use PowerPoint, and that's a fact. But Florian, we have to use our corporate PowerPoint template. It is obligatory. Another one. Here in this link, check out my view on PowerPoint screen presentations. But apart from that, the most powerful business presentation I'm aware of, 2007, Steve Jobs presenting the iPhone.
An iPod, a phone, and an internet communicator. an iPod, a phone. Are you getting it?
Did you see the Apple logo in the upper right corner? Did you see commercially confidential, the disclaimer in the left bottom corner? Did you see Steve Jobs presenting the new iPhone? Did you see page 17? 2 different presentations, handout, screen slides. This is my truth. Number 4. My stories will bore them. The management team, my boss, he will interrupt me and say, get to the point. Have you ever told a story in a business presentation? Have you ever started saying it was snowing the day I arrived at the office? Have you? If you haven't, how can you tell me all the time that it will not work? This is a myth. People listen to your story and they do not listen to logical data, facts, data, figures, metrics, KPIs, all in a boring PowerPoint template, just be spoken in the point before. It is boring and nobody listens, and I know it because for 8 years and 3 months at KPMG I was sitting there and I didn't listen to any of those speakers. It was snowing the day I arrived at the office. Everyone will drop their phones. Replace boredom by storytelling and integrate all the logical metrics, KPIs, and all your logical data in your storytelling. That rocks. And that is my truth. People are absolutely convinced that they know what others will think about them when they do something. And they have no idea. They will think that is a myth. Because you don't know what people think. It's crazy. Example, in all my trainings, every time somebody sings in the presentation, it can be a business presentation. With or without you, let it be, take me down to the paradise. Apparently it must support your message. But every time somebody sings in the feedback round, plus super positive, amazing, I loved it. But how many people sing in business presentations? 0. Because they think that they will think they are stupid, which is stupid by itself. So when you follow the myth, they will think that. My truth is, no, they won't. I do understand rhetorical rookies. At the beginning of the rhetorical journey, you have to structure your speech, you have to throw in facts, data, figures, testimony, surveys, statistics, examples, give examples. And they have to tell stories with characters, name, look, personality. They have to have a CSI hero's journey. There must be struggle and challenges and lesson learned. Where's your lesson learned? By the way, there's a stage. You have to do past, present, future and move on stage accordingly. Use holograms. There's a tsunami. What about your ethos, your personal story, your insights? Stage fright and in front of those people and it kills them. Cerebellum. I understand them. But to say, I cannot do that is a myth. Think about your first driving lesson. My dad, God bless his soul, never showed me how to drive a car before my first driving lesson. Did your dad show you how to drive a car? I remember I was sitting in there like an idiot in my first lesson, you know? The brake, the gas, paying attention, the flashing lights. How will I ever be able to do everything at once? I cannot do that. Today, I drive from Barcelona to Girona, Northern Catalonia, AP7, the highway, without even looking at the highway. That's the same in public speaking. I cannot do that is a myth. Yes, you can is my truth. How did you learn how to drive a car? Practice, feedback. How do you learn how to speak in public? Practice, feedback. Shortcuts? 0. But to say I cannot do that is a myth. Yes, you can. The 7th and final myth about public speaking, for me the biggest of them all. You have to be strong on stage. Your weakness is the biggest connector. My friend and professional speaker Olivia Schofield shares this opinion.
You take a plant How do we know it's real? We know it's real and not plastic because they've got little brown leaves. And it is that part of the plant that makes us realise it's real. And it's the same with a presentation. It is the vulnerability, it is the openness, it is the authenticity that builds the connection that makes us feel this person is real.
It's not a God-given gift. You don't have to use slides. Who said you have to use slides? And you don't have to use corporate PowerPoint templates for your screen slides. Your stories don't bore, your stories engage. They will think that, no they won't. I cannot do that. Yes, you can. And you don't always have to be strong on stage because your weakness is the biggest connector. So what can you do now? For me, the biggest growth booster for you will be when you start to stop thinking about what they think. The next presentation, sing. Sing a fragment of a song, and I know how the feedback will be. It will be super positive, and that will make you feel free on stage and on screen. Doubts, misbeliefs, misconceptions, myths, they will always be there. And in public speaking, in rhetoric, the art of persuasion, I've learned as a professional that it is so important that we continue to reflect on them. Aristotle started this whole discussion. We continue. Will there be an end? Who knows? Maybe in the end, it will all be